Kemper Profiler Tones and Talks. That Tone Show, episode 21. Amazing. I'm here again with Mr. Thomas Dill, who created all of the 21 videos for Kemper with a deep dive into the Kemper Profiler's effects arsenal. And to give you an idea what this is going to be about, here's the video. What can we say? Mr. Knopfler on steroids. That's the most obvious thing. But yeah, maybe you had something else on your mind as well. Thomas, please enlighten us. How did this come together, and what are the individual parts of this tone?
Yeah, it's Knopfler is the right word. It's really inspired by his sound and his tone played with the fingers, and a clean guitar tone with a strut, and yeah, to get this really sustaining clean tone. Which is normally when you play with an amp or something, amp live, getting this really cutting through clean tone, you need to turn that amp really up, and especially if you take some clean rigs, it's hard to get a nice sounding clean tone. Because there are some things to get this sound is you need to pick the strings really soft. And if you pick them hard, this is something that you usually do when you don't get hurt at the on stage with your clean tone. And it sounds really, screaming thin when you pick that tones too heavy. So you have this more thin tone that you don't want to have, and the key to get this a fatter tone with soft picking is using a compressor. And I didn't use one compressor. It's like in this example with the pedal steel style guitar, slide style, I used two compressors, one in front of the stack and one behind of the stack. And for me, this is the key to get this really soft picked, cool sounding and cutting through clean lead tone. So this is this is to describe those sounds. Knopfler, clean lead tone, really played relaxed. And on steroids, maybe the last part is on a bit more on steroids when I turn on the delay and get this huge delay sound. So I will show you the basic sound is clean amp, two compressors, natural reverb. Then I add the micro pitch. just to get some smooth modulation, but not moving modulation, just a little bit of out of tune modulation. And the third sound at the end is the, I call it the waterfall delay.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a quad delay with ducking. So yeah, let's take a deeper look into the rig manager. I will show you share the screen, show you everything I got here. So yeah, let's turn everything off. We have the amp profile. It's again the Tweed Deluxe. Clean setting, gain at 1.5, bass, middle, treble, and presence raised a bit, and the EQ position is set to pre. Definition at 5.3, so it gets you get a more warmer tone. So when I pick the notes soft, this is how it sounds like. Really low level. If I need this band level, if I want to have this band level to cut through, I need to pick the notes really hard. And that doesn't sound good. Yeah. So now...
Because that's the typical thing you get when you're using clean tones, you get a lot of attack, in the first transients, and you don't get the tone part of this, because especially the older, especially the older the amps, the tonal aspect of it is it falls back quickly, and you just get the clack and not the body of the tone. So with a compressor, you will most probably rise that. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I really find that hard to play with. There's something I just had an amp here for a review, which has a really nice compressing sound when it comes out of the speaker. So when you sit in front of the speaker, you get this smooth compressed tone, very great. Miking the speaker through this small mic, you get really lost of this compressed tone. Especially when I put the mic a little bit back, it doesn't get this same play feeling when you mic this amp. So it's hard to get this sound, or to conserve the sound in that you hear when you're sitting in front of the speaker. So compression is a really good thing to use, and for that I have this 2 compressors. And wait a minute, there's something interesting. But first of all, to get a little bit more roomy sound, I have the natural reverb, a big room. Just to have a little bit more atmosphere. And now my 2 compressors. The first one is set at a higher intensity. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. The higher intensity at 5.0, attack at 1.4, squash at 1 plus 1.5, and the mix level at 100%. So this gives me a bit more sustain. It ducks the attacks. If I turn it off. And I really can play can really play relaxed, soft picking and get this tone from the guitar. The next one, behind the stack, the mix level is at 77%, so this is the softer setting. Intensity at 3.4, attack at 3.3, squash at plus 1.5. So it's compared to the first one, squash parameter is the same, but and attack is higher on the second one, but less intensity and less mix on the second one. And this adds, for me, a little bit more sustain. Especially when you do some slides. Wait a minute. Just see. A slide, and then you just let the tone ring out. Without those compressors, it's gone. So here you have the with bendings and all that stuff. So this helps to get a greater play feeling.
Yeah,
now
and also all the nuances, just as you were bending the note, if you bend slowly and let it come back slowly, and on the way coming back, adding a little bit of a bending, this usually gets lost when you don't use a compressor, because you get the up bend and maybe a little bit of the first vibrato, but then it's completely gone. And if you let it come down and you vibrate while it's coming down, the compressor really shines there, because then you can add so much expression, and the world is able to hear this, because otherwise it would be just buried in the noise of the band.
Yeah, and you have it's everybody who's playing, you have this better play feeling, so that everything you wish to hear is heard. So slides, legato playing, it's really easy, and especially with the Strat, with single coil pickups, because they don't have really, or the Strat hasn't much sustain, and the single coil pickups don't have that much output that leads an amp to more sustain or something like that, especially if you're using not loudspeaker or something like that. And if you're recording with earphones, earplugs, and everything. So now the test. I played around a bit this morning with the compressors, and this is my favorite setting. So first compressor, more intense sound. Second compressor behind the stack, a softer setting. And I would like to change these compressor positions just to hear and to feel how the difference, they sound different. So let's go to the rig manager. So at first, I change both compressors. So now the first compressor is the softer one, the second compressor is the harder one. How do you think it sounds?
Okay.
Now compared to the original. Do you hear a difference?
Yes, I do, indeed. And as I use very often for clean or semi-clean tones to due compressi, as the Italians say, two compressors. I think if you have them both in front of the amp, and if you're running a clean sound, it's a little bit more. It has more character because the second compressor also adds to the nuances that go then into the tube stuff, and it adds a little bit more complexity. If the second compressor is after the stack, it's just taking care of dynamics, so to say. Maybe if that's that could be explained like this. It takes care of the dynamics, but doesn't add any tonal expressive quality. If you have both in front of the amp, the second compressor also adds to bringing out nuances, and then also taking these nuances into the tube department, where they get even treated again on top of that in a very special way to shine and come out. So that's what I know also from using due compressi in front of the amp. So that's maybe what you found as well.
Yeah, wait a minute. I just changed the two setting compressors. So now let's do that what you said. I have the intense compressor at the first place. Then at the second place, the less intense compressor. So this is how it sounds like. Changing those. So now we have at first the less and then the harder. Do you hear a difference?
Yeah, especially with when you the last phrase, when you do when you hit the strings and
for me it feels a bit different. But it's like you said, the other one is taking care. If you have one in front and one at behind the stack, it's more taking care of the dynamics, and this hits the amp harder, and you get a more compressed signal from going into the amp. So for me as the player, in that case, I like the difference. So the more dynamics, I like that more. So putting one in front and one behind the stack. But for some stuff, if you want to really take a compressed signal for maybe it's great to have this quick squashy tone. So that, but this is really is not. I think it's not. This is better or this is better. It's just even for the player. The player needs to know what he wants to have, and if somebody likes 3 compressors in front of the stack, it might be great. And it's always on the play feeling. Somebody has a lighter attack, somebody has a harder attack on the string. So you need to adjust your compressor signals on your playing, and that means if there's some rigs, maybe some rigs from that tone show, they might not fit for your playing. You need to adjust. Some people think, okay, so program those rigs and I get the rigs, and I will sound like the guy on the YouTube video or something like that. No, that's not. You need to adjust everything on your playing, because this is great that the profiler reacts in that way. It's not something which makes everything even.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Same. So, and this is great to have to be a guitar player, that you can express yourself. But do you think, from the listener's perspective, are there huge differences between those settings of compressors? Because I'm just playing, I'm playing and listening, and I can't really compare, because I have this sound feeling, and you need to record it and need to listen to it, and but you hear it, and there's huge difference between those settings.
Yeah, because now we have three scenarios. You have two compressors, one in front of the amp and one after the amp. And then the second one is you have two compressors in front of the amp. And the third one is you change the order of the two compressors in front of the amp, because one is taking more care of the attacks and the other one a little bit less. And depending on in which order you have them, of course, the tonal shaping is a little bit different. And generally, what I like for clean tones is to have both compressors in front of the amp, as I said before, because then, for example, if you bend the note and you come back and sometimes you do something else with your finger and you have a little bit of harmonics going on, or pinched harmonic. If you mute or half mute the tone, you can get, even when you move up the fret, you can just create by moving the string up the fret a little bit of harmonics, and a compressor would bring this out if it's an appropriate setting for that. So that adds to a lot more expressiveness, and the compressor after the amp is just taking care of levels basically, and not so much adding color, or it adds one color and it deals with the level. So but that's a question of taste, and it's a question of what you are doing musically and what is required. I think for a player, it's always more a bigger sensation if you have two compressors in front of the stack.
Yes.
So, and which one first? The one who's taking care of the transients more immediately, the first one or the second one, it depends also on the amp and the levels then, and the way you open, and also the mix setting of the second one. If you let through the original signal a little bit all the time, like what happens with the tube screamers, the drives, the overdrives, that the amp gets some compressed stuff, more information, plus the attack thing. That's a very, very complex construction there. You need to find.
We can talk about that 2 hours.
Yes, and you can, try and change things also for, umpty hours, not only 2 hours, because these things will change. And just take a different amp, you have another dimension for this. Yeah, so try this at home, download this.
Conclusion, there's no right way. There's everything is possible, and try it. And I forgot the other effects. Just not to end this. I have two effects going on there, just to show you. Here we are. The micro pitch just adds a little bit of modulation. Just a smooth modulated tone without moving. If you're using a chorus, you have this tempo in the effect change or tuning change. And this is something, sometimes I like that, for some moving effects when I want to have some tempo stuff or something like that going on. But for lead tones, I want to have the modulation at the same level, not changing. So I really prefer for those tones the micro pitch, which gives me that sound. And the other thing is the waterfall delay, quad delay. Quad delay means 4 delay tanks and 4 note values. So it's set to a quarter note, 5/16, 6/16, and 7/16. So that means after a quarter note, there are coming 4/16 notes. Duck, 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 duck. And repeating, because the feedback is at 72%, so really high. The mix level is really high, 91.4. And the ducking level is at 1.5 plus 1.5. So that means when I'm playing, you don't hear, or the delay goes into the background, and it comes when I'm making a rest or something like that. So this is, always something. If you're using some really intense delays, try to work with the mix level, or to take a lower mix level, or if you want to have this delay really loud, try some ducking parameters, and so the played notes don't get muddy from the delay sounds.
Yeah. That's true, and I've just been thinking about this with if you work with due compressi, I would also consider be very sparse with the stuff that happens afterwards, because if you get so much body out of the tone compared to usually only dealing with the transients, everything you add on top of that is also taking the attention away from what's happening tone-wise, what you're playing, shaping the sound, and it's getting a little bit more processed afterwards, so that the special feeling, the special intonation things get a little bit lost. So it has to be added really with a lot of taste and carefully. And with ducking, that's also good, that you just fill in the places where you don't have anything to say, and you just leave it, and then comes in something that takes care of the moment, and then when you have something to say again, all this stuff goes away. That's a good way to be always always at a great place as a guitar player when there's space to be, and you're doing with the clean tone.
To be honest, sometimes I really use the compressor to have these effects boosted. So some special ambient sound reverbs or something like that, they are sounding better when you use a compressor in front of the amp. Because they get more leveled out, more sustain or something like that, and it's, for me, it's then it's better to have the compressor to make these effects more shine. But it's always a thing that you really need the place and the space in the mix to have them shine, and not to be too loud to compete with some other instruments or the vocals or something like that.
That's true. And to add to this, I very often use a compressor after the delays and the reverbs in the mixing stage as well. So just to bring in, the reverb tail from the vocals, or the delay tail from the vocals as well. And this works also beautifully for the guitar. And with the profiler, you can do this already in your rig. So the mix engineer, when you're playing live, doesn't have to take care of that. And you would bring up the intensity of, the reverb tails. And especially even when you play a lot, and if you have ducking in, but you stop playing, you get this whoosh and the big thing afterwards, nicely dialed in. So that makes sense as well.
It doesn't sound good if you have a huge delay or reverb pad behind you, and when you stop playing, it's getting lower then. So the sound changes too much. So for live situations, it's really good to have this ducking parameter and have a higher mix level, that you can keep this sound stage of ambient reverb, delay, tail, whatever, at the same level.
That's true. And then if you would have a compressor after that, you can even out that it's the release phase you can shape a little bit with the compressor. And that's why we're now voting for a profiler with at least 16 effects slots in the future.
Of course.
Because
slicers, we need some slicers then.
Slicer.
Yeah.
Control.
Some tremolo with rhythmic stuff or something like that.
Yeah, controlled with a beat scanner, so that you can use it for any situation. And that's true. There's a lot of stuff, and actually, we are wrapping this up right now. Today, not only for today, but for that season, basically, the Tone Show season. Tones and Talks, the first season, discussing the Tone Show tones and rigs, is over. We are wrapping this up and putting this to bed. Only if you get to have some questions, of course, let us know. This will be monitored. And we'll be coming back with some more, of course. But we will know you when, season 2 will start. And first of all, thank you all for following season 1. Special thanks to Thomas Dill for creating all these tones and bringing this conversation up about how creative rigs can be put together. And it's been inspiring. So thank you personally from my end as well, and thanks on behalf of the users out there. And
welcome, everybody.
and Yeah, if you have something else to add to this, Rick, please say. Otherwise,
I'm done with this, Rick, and the compressor discussion. So, yeah, let's move on to the next season.
right. And there's exciting stuff to come. And time to say goodbye to that town show for a moment, but it will stay. The internet will store everything, of course. Okay. Hey, take care. Bye. And see you soon again.
Bye.